Hey guys, I'm back, and today I'm going to go over my top 20 favorite movies of the year 2015. I know I said I was going to do reviews, and I kind of didn't really do any of them. I did one for Taken 3, which I hated, but you can watch that if you want. But I did see a lot of movies this year. I saw about 70, like a little bit more than 70 movies this year. And when I have all the movies I saw listed in the description below. Some of the ones I haven't seen that won't be on this list are like Room, The Revenant, Brooklyn, Macbeth, Youth, 45 Years. I still want to see all those, but at the time that I'm filming this video, I haven't seen those yet. And those are probably the leading contenders. The Walk, I haven't seen that I really wanted to. But I saw most of the big hitters, so I feel like I'm pretty confident in this list. And for me, I actually love this year in film, so I couldn't even do a top 10. I had to do a top 20, so let's start that. Coming in at number 20 is Sicario, directed by Denis Villeneuve. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that correctly. Starring Emily Blunt, Benicio del Toro, and Josh Brolin. I love this movie. I've only seen it once, and I didn't like it as much as Denis Villeneuve's other works I've seen. I like Prisoners and Enemy more. I've only seen Sicario once, though. I feel like if I watch it one or two more times, I'd like it just as much as those other two. There was a lot there. There was a lot to digest for me to take in one's viewing, but so it didn't have the lasting impact that the movies higher up on this list did. But I still really enjoyed the movie. It was a great time, and I'm really excited to watch it on Blu-ray later this week. Comes out Tuesday. Number 19 is Mad Max Fury Road. I know everyone's freaking out because it's like number 1 in the top 5 on everyone's list. I didn't like it that much. For whatever reason, I couldn't emotionally connect with it like other people did, but the action's phenomenal, performances are great, it's visually stimulating as hell, and oh my god, George Miller's direction is fantastic. And this is probably the most rewatchable movie on this list. I've seen it 5 times, and I didn't really get bored any of those times. I saw it 3 times at press screenings, and then 1 time in a theater and 1 time at home. It's fantastic all the way through. The score by Junkie XL is very noteworthy. Great time. Coming in at number 18 is Pixar's Inside Out. This is their return to form. Everyone was saying it before the movie came out. There was still all this hype, and for me, it lived up to it. It has some narrative issues, and I feel like some things can be changed. But for the most part, it's fantastic. I've seen the movie 4 times now. I've loved it each time. I feel like the theme that it gets to at the end of the movie is very important for children to know. The animation is beautiful. The voice cast is fantastic. Amy Poehler's great, and I think Bill Hader plays anger, and all the emotions is just so inventive. This is a super inventive movie. And the first 10 minutes is, I think, is by far the best part of the movie, where it explains everything, and it's just like, oh my, this is such a creative concept. And it's so nice seeing Pixar do original content. And I hope that we get more original content. I know that they're going to have more original content. Number 17, this movie I actually missed in theaters, but I watched it on Redbox and thought it was great. It's The Gift. It's Joel Edgerton's directorial debut, and stars Jason Bateman from Arrested Development. And it's really interesting seeing him be in a dramatic role, and I thought he actually killed it. This is a thriller, but it's not that predictable. It's not for me. I thought I was going to go one way, and it didn't. I thought it was a lot more clever than I first led on. And the ending blew me away, and it was a movie that haunted me. And you'll see there's a few movies on this list that haunted me for a day or 2 after, and this is one of them. I would highly recommend it. It's out on streaming in Redbox. Just go watch it. It's great. Number 16 is the Peanuts movie. I actually went out of my way to see this movie because it's annoying to go to the theater because now I'm in college and I don't have a car, so it's kind of really annoying to get there. But I was like, I'm seeing the Peanuts movie because I love the original Charlie Brown specials. I kind of grew up on them in a way. I'd always watch them in class, my music classes, the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, the Great Pumpkin, and the Christmas special. And this is very much in the same tone of that. And the animation they're able to modernize the animation, but also make it so respectful to Charles Schultz's original cartoons. And this is a movie that I would say is timeless, besides the pop music. But for me, the pop music worked because it was made for a modern audience. And it was like, okay, cool, you're going to have some pop music? Well, at least the pop music they chose was at least the pop music that they chose wasn't disrespectful. The story's great, and it's just so nice to see the Peanuts back on the big screen and just have new Peanuts content. And shout out to Paul Feig for being so respectful in Blue Sky Studios. And letting the Schultz family write the screenplay. It was just so much greatness came together, and they played nice, and we got an awesome movie, and it's one of my favorite movies of the year. Number 15 is Love and Mercy. This is the Brian Wilson biopic, where Brian Wilson is played by both Paul Dano and John Cusack. Such a strong biopic, and it's told in flashback and current day with John Cusack, and then flashback with Paul Dano portraying Brian Wilson. And it's just such an interesting look into the genius that was Brian Wilson, and really good commentary on artistic integrity and mental illness, and it just blew me away. And then Elizabeth Banks is also in the movie, and she's fantastic. I think it's her best role by far that I've ever seen her in it. And Paul Giamatti's in it. He's fantastic as always. I love Paul Giamatti. And it was this was something really haunted me after I saw it, because it was like, that was just so insane for a man to go through. And this movie, it's long. I think it's like 2.5 hours, and it kind of felt like that. But I was entranced the entire time, and I was so invested. And I went into the movie not knowing hardly at all about the Beach Boys. And after the movie, I want to know more about how they made the music. I want to know more about Brian Wilson. The movie was great. Go watch Love and Mercy. Paul Dano is in lead contention for an Oscar, and for very good reason. Coming in number 14 on the list is AntMan, my favorite MCU film of the year. I thought Avengers Age of Ultron was good, but it wasn't good enough to be in my top 20. AntMan certainly was. Oh, this movie was great. I was worried when Edgar Wright departed that I was just going to be some corporate bullshit movie, but it wasn't at all. It was still very creative. Yes, there are ties into the MCU that seemed a little bit forced, but for me, that didn't bother me. I thought it was cool seeing these characters interact with Ant-Man. And they even, bring up the big problem most people have Phase 2 films. Why don't we call it the Avengers? They explain it in this film. Evangeline Lilly is fantastic. They have Michael Douglas in a superhero movie, and he's great. And they have that de-aging thing in the first scene, and it looks really good. Paul Rudd as Scott Lang is hilarious, and I love the through line of the film, how important the relationship between a father and daughter is. And I thought it was interesting. And honestly, after watching this movie, I was way more hyped for Civil War than I was after Age of Ultron. When Age of Ultron ended, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Civil War is happening. When this movie ended, I was like, Civil War is happening. And I can't wait. That movie's going to be so good. Coming in number 13 is The Big Short, directed by Adam McKay. He's most known for doing Anchorman and Step Brothers. But this is a much more serious topic. It's about the high housing crisis in the United States in 2008. And I'm currently 18 years old, so I remember the housing crisis happened, but I didn't really know why it happened. I just remember the real estate market tanked. And this movie explained it, and this movie honestly respects your intelligence. You have to keep up with it, but it knows that it's not just for financial majors. It knows that it's for a broad audience. So they do sit down, they explain stuff in very creative ways. The performances are fantastic. You have Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt, Steve Carell, and Christian Bale all in the movie. That cast alone was I'm sold. And they all come together to tell a very important story of this happened, and it's still happening, and you should care. And I walked out just disgusted at this is how Wall Street works. It's similar to Wolf of Wall Street in tone, but Wolf of Wall Street just shoved a bunch of sexually explicit images in your face and was oh, look at how fun it is watching Jordan Belfort. Oh, but he's a bad person. This film tells a story of how people profited off of millions of people losing a ton of stuff with the housing crisis. But it tells it in a way that it knows that it's a very important issue and that most people should care. And it paints Wall Street in a terrible light, as it should. And it doesn't pander, in my opinion. It just tells the story in a very fun way. And this movie actually was also really funny, as you would expect from Adam McKay. Ryan Gosling's the funniest character. The scene where he's pitching this idea to Steve Carell's group the first time, I lost it laughing. I thought it was... So not only is this a great movie, it's a very important movie, and I'm so happy to see this movie being in contention for the Academy Awards, because more people need to see it, because it's so good. I learned more about economics watching this movie for 2 hours than I did in taking a semester of econ in high school. I was just this is what economics is. Economics in high school, you don't learn anything. Number 12 is my favorite animated movie of the year, and it's Shaun the Sheep. People keep saying Inside Out, and people keep saying Peanuts, and both great movies are on this list. But Shaun the Sheep from AntMan Animation, I was this movie's almost perfect. And it's only lower just because I think the other movies are stronger in certain aspects. But this movie, I think, is nearly flawless. And it's so great how they're able to tell this story without really any dialogue. It's all just visual humor and visual narrative. And it's just very inventive, and the animation's beautiful. And I remember I grew up watching Shaun the Sheep cartoons on Disney Channel, so I was like, there's a Shaun the Sheep movie, and I couldn't wait, and the movie was fantastic. I loved it. I laughed a ton. It's very witty and clever. Just, if you haven't seen Shaun the Sheep, go watch it. It's one of the best animated movies of the year. In my opinion, it's the best animated movie of the year. This is what I'm rooting for to win the Academy Award. Will it win? No. Inside Out's going to win. But I hope Shaun the Sheep wins, because it's just so good. Coming in at number 11 is The Martian from Ridley Scott. This is probably Ridley Scott's best film in a long time. I haven't seen most of his work, but I was a fan of Prometheus. I've heard it's one of his weaker installments, but like since Prometheus, he's done really nothing good. So I didn't really have any hopes for this. I was like, oh, it could be good. This movie was not just good. It was great. The action's great. The movie's very funny. I was laughing a lot. The last hour or so, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, just like, is this guy gonna get home? It's an adaptation from a great book. I haven't read the book, but everyone I know has read the book, says it's great. Also, major props to Drew Goddard for adapting this book into a great screenplay. I thought between him and Ridley Scott and the cast in general, Matt Damon's great, and so is Chiwetel Ejiofor, Jeff Daniels, Kate Mara, Jessica Chastain. This is a great ensemble cast. But the standout is Matt Damon, who puts this movie on his shoulders. You care about him. He's hilarious. He's relatable. The action sequences are great, and it's just a great journey to the movies. Now we're getting into the top 10 movies, but that'll be another video. No, it won't. I probably do this in 20 minutes, in 22 minutes. Be like, okay, here we go.